it to the ranch here in Mexico. First day. It looks very thick when we came in, so I think it's going to be a good challenge to find some deer, but it should be a good one. We have about 5-6 days to make it happen, so hopefully we can connect with a nice Baja Blacktail, which is a super cool species, but they're pretty sneaky. So it's definitely not going to be easy, but I hope it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm on the first scouting mission just behind the ranch, so there is not really an area that I would expect the deer to be. So for the moment I'm just trying to get up the hill, because up there looks really nice, and I hope that I can maybe see one already, so we have an idea where they might be for tomorrow, and then yeah, try and get after them, but it's gonna be definitely gonna be a hard one. It was a first great look, but no deer spotted, so it's time to head back to camp and get the rifles ready for the first day of hunting. For this hunt I'm gonna borrow a rifle, so I'm just gonna attach the mounts for my tripod underneath so that I'm ready to head out tomorrow. This is a little bit different view than I'm normally used to when I'm hunting, but it's very exciting to be out here in Mexico and see how it's done here. This is day one and we made it to the first shooting post. It's a little rock outcrop overlooking a valley, so it's very nice. I have a lot of terrain I can look into, but the terrain itself is pretty thick, so it's gonna be a good challenge to find a deer in there and then hopefully get a shot. This is what I'm seeing. You can see a big basin here. Then I have the gun set up here to be ready, and then I'm glassing all of this stuff down there until the valley in order to hopefully turn up a deer.
Well, yeah. I saw one. They were in another shooting area, but good scouting day. The weather was nice because it was cold. Maybe that's the start of the rut, and now we're really looking forward for the deer. So now we're on the deer hunt. Yeah. So. One of the things that I love about a good deer camp is that there are always food and drinks around, and of course here it's no different. So we started with a couple chips, and then we got to preparing the goat meat that we harvested on the last hunt to get ready to make some tacos for the evening. And that's day one in the books. No deer, but great memories. So this is the kind of terrain to work with. Very bushy, very green, what is super unusual for here in Baja. But they had a lot of rain, which of course is good for the forage, but it makes it a lot harder to actually find the deer in this stuff. Even with a ton of sign in forms of tracks and rubs, we couldn't see any deer on the second day. After not seeing any deer for the first 2 days of the hunt, the anticipation for day 3 was high. Morning hunt here in Mexico. We came out to a spot and we are overlooking a big canyon that you can hopefully see a little bit of behind me. And there are a few open spots in front. So we set up here and hopefully there's going to be a deer that comes out later. And after 2 days of hunting without seeing anything, I was finally able to put my eyes on my first Baja Blacktail deer. This little buck was coming down the opposite side of the canyon and heading in exactly that direction where I would like a big one to be. things happened really quick. A bigger buck stepped out in the same place the smaller one had been before, and I could just get a shot off. As everything happened so quick, it was time to cross the valley after and look for the blood trail to hopefully find the deer quickly.
Yeah, the shot would have been here. We found the place where I shot the deer. There is the blood down here and some hair. Looks really good. Looks like lung blood, so it shouldn't be too far from here. There's also a bunch of hair. And then yeah, if you look slowly over the canyon, like you can see the spot where we shot from, just the ledge over there. And yeah, now it's gonna be tracking and hopefully have a short blood trail, but I think the way it looks, maybe 50 to 60 meter maximum. Oh, that looks like a dead deer. My first blacktail ever, and then it's a Baja Blacktail, so this is very special. It's been a couple rough days chasing these guys. Very thick terrain, very short shot opportunities, but luckily this guy this morning gave us a good shot, and yeah, we could find him after a little bit of tracking, so everything is perfect now.
No? After the hunt, it was time to take care of the meat, and what we had in plan was the Mexican style of dry meat. So we cut the slices from the bones and then salted them and then hung them out in the sun to dry. And this was a process that went over a couple of days, but that's the way it's done here, and of course that's what we had to try for this trip as well.
So here's the result of our hunt. This is some of the deer meat, and we're drying it up here.
But of course we also needed to have a proper deer camp dinner, and that's why we started to make some tortillas from scratch, which was a super cool process. And even though I'm not gonna be a pro at this, it was super cool to see how it's done. And
right through the fire. That looks good.
It's better film that one.
What do you think, Teal?
This looks like a good day at deer camp. It's a little bit different, but I like the Mexican style.
¿Va a querer tortilla, pa?
Cuando el otro que mató primero, ¿no?
No creo que le eches más de lo que...
Tienes que prepararte y pegarle la mano. Échele, mira así.
Como ayer. Cuando lo grabé comiéndose el ocean.
Puta, qué rico el gobierno. No, papi, no. Está mal.
Needless to say, it was an awesome dinner and a great evening in deer camp. There might have been a few more beer after that, and it was a really good end to the Mexico hunt. Very special time. It was definitely not an easy hunt, but it was a great place, great company, and a great experience. So I hope that I can come back at some point.